Welcome to the MordorBBS Podcast. You can visit MordorBBS.com for pop culture news, views and information. Be the first on your blog to simply walk into Mordor. Your hosts for this podcast are Signal and Gameplay Jenny.
Do we have worm sign?
Who shall we have worm sign, the likes of which even God has never seen?
Welcome to the podcast. Rob, the other night I had the strangest and yet the most awesome dream.
Oh yes? Is this a cheese dream, is it?
No, it's not a cheese dream, although it may well have been caused by cheese. I was dreaming that I could levitate. And I discovered that if I just pushed off a little on one foot, I could float for enormous distances, and it was fantastic. And the worst thing is, it's not the first time that I've had this dream, and the really worst thing is that whenever I wake up, I get really disappointed because I can't do it.
I've had similar dreams, actually.
I'm sure this says something about our brain chemistry.
Yes, possibly that we eat too much cheese.
I certainly eat too much cheese.
Wouldn't it be great to have a superpower that allowed you to fly?
Yes, it would. I would happily pay money for the ability that I have in my dream.
Well, I think the problem is, though, if that you could pay money for it, there would be lots of people who would have much cooler things than just floating down the road. I think you'd probably have to be bitten by a radioactive levitating spider or something in order to get that kind of ability.
Oh my god, spiders can levitate.
Not that I'm aware of. It was just an
Because
example,
I don't want to live on this planet anymore if spiders start levitating.
Well, there are spiders that can sort of float on sticky web strands, but we probably don't want to go there if you have a bit of an arachnophobia going.
Levitating spiders.
But yeah, so I don't know, what other superpowers are there? Let's see, I mean, if I got one by accident in the same way that Spider-Man picked up his power, I'd probably get something really crap, like the ability to unerringly recognize types of trees from a long way away, or remembering how to spell hard words, instead of the really cool stuff like, I don't know, some superpower which enables me to never again embarrass myself in public.
Being able to shock people.
What, with electric shocks? Or by
Yes.
leaping out and going, boo!
No, out of my hands.
Shocks out of your hands. Okay, well that's an interesting one. Bit violent.
I've got entire videos of me doing this.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, you're playing of Oblivion on your Gameplay Jenny YouTube channel. Plug.
My most recent ability is to be able to make people fall over.
See, I'm not entirely sure that that's a superpower that I'd be particularly interested in.
It's brilliant.
I don't think Superman would have been anywhere near as popular if he just went around making people fall over, for example.
I think it would largely depend on who they were.
Wonder Woman had crap superpowers, didn't she?
I couldn't even name one, that's how crap they were.
Well, she had her golden lasso, which made people tell the truth. Now, that's a bit sort of iffy to start with. Then she had her invisible airplane, which would be a hell of a bugger to find after you'd parked it somewhere. And then she could deflect bullets with her wrist bracelets, which I think was probably more
Useful?
dexterity than anything, than any particular superpower.
That's not a proper sentence.
It is a proper sentence.
That's more dexterity than any other superpower.
What's wrong with that? Stop
That's
mocking
not-
my... Stop. What would you
That's
know
not a
about the English language?
sentence.
What would you know about the English language?
What indeed?
Yes. There are superheroes out there that have cool superpowers. I don't think Wonder Woman's among them, other than perhaps the superpower of looking good in hot pants. I don't know if that's particularly good for crime fighting.
I used to love Firestar as a kid.
See, now, I've never even heard of Firestar. Which one was Firestar?
Well, that's one of Spider-Man's mates.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man and friends. She was one of the friends.
What did she do?
Well, that's the problem. I can't really remember, to be honest, as it was quite a long time ago, but it involved fire.
Oh, fair enough.
Let me just Google this.
I used to feel terribly sorry for the Incredible Hulk. I mean, God knows if I had to throw a car through the air every time anything annoyed me, I'd be forever doing it.
I have just found out that apparently Firestar is the same age as me. Yeah, she was born in the same year as I was. Well, there you go. And she looks a bit like me as well.
Oh.
I'm reading about Firestar now. She has the ability to convert ambient electromagnetic energy from her environment into microwave energy, which she can then manipulate for various effects.
In other words, she starts fires, right?
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure that starting fires is a particularly laudable superpower to have. If you just go around burning things to death, that just sounds like they're horrible. Superheroes aren't supposed to be horrible.
Well, it's got other practical applications, though, like cooking.
What sort of crappy superpower is that? It makes you good at cooking. Just turn you into Gordon Ramsay. Or is he the evil one, and Firestar would be the good one who has to thwart him at every turn?
I reckon so.
Okay.
Oh, she can fly as well, actually.
Well, I suppose that's something. Flying does seem to be the staple, doesn't it?
Flying and being able to set things on fire. Yeah, that's my favourite.
So if you were able to be a superhero, you would choose the ability to fly and set things on fire.
Yes.
You could just build a catapult and carry around a lighter.
No.
Okay. If I had to choose a superpower to have, it would probably be...
Did you not think about that before you started that sentence?
I was pausing.
I expected you to have this down pat, actually.
I was pausing for dramatic effect, actually. But okay, if you're going to be like that, I'm not going to tell you.
That's fine. I know you want to be He-Man. There's no shame.
That did spawn a rather excellent movie, Masters of the Universe.
Was that live action one?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't bear up to rewatching now. I'm sure I would look at it and go, oh my god, what did I see in it back then? But I do recall actually quite enjoying it.
Right, okay. Let's talk about Twitter then, shall we?
See, normally I dread this part of the podcast because I invariably lose followers. But I'm happy to say that this week I've actually gained 8 new followers following me alone, happy.
That's 8 more people who won't listen to you then.
Well, obviously they're listening to me, otherwise they wouldn't be following me, would they? They've obviously encountered me on the internet and thought, there's a daring and insightful soul, let's follow him on Twitter.
I don't care. I reached 600 YouTube subscribers this morning.
600 YouTube subscribers, all watching you play Oblivion, are they?
Well, I hope so, because if they're not, I don't know what else they might be doing.
Right, well, I've got, wait for it, 45.
That's, rubbish.
It's slightly rubbish. That's not to say I don't appreciate those 45 people following, but yes, I have some catching up to do.
Folks, go and subscribe. If you're listening to this now, go and find it on YouTube and subscribe to it and make him feel better.
Yes, it would make me feel better. If I can get more than Gameplay Jenny, I will buy you all a pie.
Oh, we've been getting such overwhelming quantities of mail about this show that it's time to read some of it out on air.
Yes, we're getting bucket loads of this stuff. Some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it interesting. So thank you for everybody who's taken the time to either email or tweet something through to us. But yes, I'll read some of it out. Signal sounds like a chat bot. Thank you. I am in fact sentient line noise. Gameplay Jenny, I can't actually find that one, I'm afraid, Jenny, but it was a rather positive comment about your voice.
Have you been binning my positive comments?
I haven't been binning them, I've just been sort of putting them somewhere and I can't remember where they are. So
if you send a compliment about me, don't expect it to get read out on air, because it will have eaten it.
Especially if you call her Gameplay Johnny, which has happened on one occasion, which made me chuckle.
This is gold, you've got to keep this stuff.
You know, I got 162 emails yesterday, right?
That makes no difference whatsoever.
And you see, I go and move them into folders, and then I delete a whole pile of other stuff that I haven't moved into folders en masse. I suspect some.
That's like the BBC, writing to the BBC and then going, do you know what, we get millions of emails every year, let's just ignore it.
So yes, thank you to those of you who continue to send the feedback through. As I say, we do love to read it. And yes, thank you very much.
On that note, if you have got any content that you want featuring on the show and you want to put it together yourself, get in contact with us. You can tweet us on @GameplayJenny or @Signal. That's PSYGNAL, and we will do our best to accommodate you.
A little bit over-professional, but nicely put.
It was actually, wasn't it?
It's like, while you're here, how about buying some insurance?
Can I sell you a kitchen?
So, Jenny, you've been playing an awful lot of Oblivion of late, but I understand that you just bought yourself a new computer game.
Oh, I have. It's shiny and new, and I downloaded it the other night. I've gone for Fallout 3. It's another Bethesda Softworks product, and it's kind of like Oblivion, but set in a post-nuclear apocalyptic thingamajig.
So it's another open-ended, so it's not locked into a linear storyline or anything like that?
I believe so. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but at the moment it feels that way. I have just been born. Literally just been born. And therefore I imagine there must be some sort of lifetime story arc thing going on, but you know me, I won't follow that.
Well, sometimes that can be quite interesting, but I do get the impression from your podcasts that you're not really into the whole hardcore role-playing game, role-play side of these things.
Well, not really, but I must admit with Morrowind I have put in mods for having to sleep and eat and build things and make things and all the rest of it.
Not so much in Oblivion, though?
No, because it's... What can I say? I just didn't bother. I didn't think it would be particularly entertaining with me having to stop to eat every 4 hours.
Not being at all familiar with the series, does Fallout have the ability to mod it to the same extent as Morrowind and Oblivion?
I believe so, yes.
Oh well, something to look forward to then for all of you fans of Gameplay Jenny's Oblivion Let's Play videos. It sounds like she's planning to launch into Fallout 3, was it, as well?
Indeed.
I have been playing Civilization 5. Now, I've been following the Civilization games for, well, it's probably getting close to 20 years here. I don't know when the first one came out. And I love them to bits. I'm absolutely terrible at them, but I am a huge sucker for Civilization games. The problem with the Civilization games is that I tend to play to a particular style and have terrible trouble breaking away from it to try new things, which invariably leads to me sitting in a corner, building up my nuclear arsenal until the game's about to end, and then just nuking everybody else on the planet, which is perhaps not the healthiest way to go. Civilization's one of those games that you can play for hours and hours and hours just concentrating on a tiny little part of the screen, and isn't the sort of thing that you could turn into a Let's Play video. But it is going cheap on Steam at the moment, so have a look. Civilization 5, worth the effort if you're into your turn-based strategic combat.
Do you know, it's people like you with your nuclear weapons that cause situations like Fallout 3.
I don't think you're going to have to worry too much about me inflicting this on the wider world, however. The chances of me actually getting my hands on nuclear weapons are slim to none. This does lead into a comfortable little segue into violence in computer games. Mr. Bill Wolf, one of our YouTube and Twitter followers, has posted a very interesting little article about violence in computer games and his experience with a new game on MordorBBS, Violence, Video Games and Space Marines. So if you're interested in reading that, you can either check out his Tumblr at mrbillwolf.tumblr.com or go to the front page of MordorBBS.com.
Greetings to Gameplay Jenny and Signal from a part of the world where theater ends in ER and a word color doesn't have the U in it. I'm Mr. Bill Wolf.
I'm AMS Boethius 1.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about the games we were playing. I'll start first. For some inexplicable reason, I've been playing Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. The reason I say inexplicable is I often rant against these hyper-violent, over-linear, highly scripted kind of shooters, but there I was. I tried it out, and the next thing I know, I'm slicing orcs in half with a chainsaw sword. So, there you go. I can't say I loved the game immensely. It was very fun. Even though the controls are simple, I just think it's a very tactical game, so overall I enjoyed playing about 18 hours of it.
I've been playing one of my favorite games, which is Arcanum, or Arcanum, whichever you pronounce it. It's a classic 1999 PC role-playing game, 2D isometric view, put out by the original creators of Fallout. It has a very unique point build system, and a very unique setting. I generally find the combination of magic and technology to be rather precious, if not twee. Very few games or things in other media are able to actually get the unity of them correct, aside from the classic tabletop game Castle Falkenstein. Arcanum is very good because it introduces the magic versus technology as magic versus technology. And you get to play several different races. You get to play half ogres, half orcs, humans, elves, dwarves, halflings, gnomes, and half elves. This is all based on around a interesting point build system that you can create any character to any means that you by any means that you desire. The really nice thing about Arcanum is that it's open, non-linear, and you can go anywhere in the world. The drawback is that its interface is rather kludgy, and the movement can be a bit exasperating.
Well, there you have it. I think we established our nerd credentials.
Certainly.
So we'll sign off for now from this part of the world where the word savory doesn't have the U in it. Take care, Gameplay, Jenny, and Signal.
Thank you for listening to the MordorBBS Podcast. Don't forget that you can visit us online at MordorBBS.com.